My name is Pinky Cole Hayes. I am the CEO and founder of Slutty Vegan ATL, Bar Vegan ATL, and the Pinky Cole Foundation.
I'm Archel Bernard. I own the Bombchel Factory in Liberia, Bombshell Store here at Ponce.
My name is Bem Joiner. I am co-founder of Atlanta Influences Everything.
Let's see.
Bam.
Share your name and a brief history of your business.
You go first.
Okay, all right, I go first. So my name is Pinky Cole Hayes. I just got married, so I'm trying to catch up with the last name. I am the CEO and founder of Slutty Vegan ATL, Bar Vegan ATL, and the Pinky Cole Foundation and American Sesh. All businesses that I'm actively involved in as we speak. And I'm also the CEO of my household because I'm a mother of three. And I'm just moving and shaking, just, praying to continue to climb up the entrepreneurial ladder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
My name is Bem Joiner. I am co-founder of Atlanta Influences Everything, which I'm most known for. I'm from Southwest Atlanta, and so I have another company called the Rain Crew LLC. Is named after my children, my daughter Rain, and my son Crew, and I do creative consulting, so hyper local creative consulting. And I didn't know I was going to start that company, but I've learned that the business of running a retail company is so full time that the messaging, like if Atlanta influences everything, how do you leverage the influence to create workforce and economic development? So I do a lot of hyper local cultural consulting with brands on how they connect to, I don't want to say like real Atlanta, like Atlanta's
No,
become
that's the
very
truth.
transient.
Yeah.
And so I'm a product of Atlanta Public Schools. So how do brands connect with, I guess, a Grady baby and get them in the process of new Atlanta? Because there's a disconnect between the two.
Yeah.
So
You
my
know what's
consulting
crazy? Your brand actually does that. So when I think about Atlanta influences everything, I think about like authentic Atlanta. So you got like this new, and I'm not from Atlanta, but
Yeah.
I'm still a peach though.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I went to CAU and like I've been here for a long time, but your brand really like resonates with that movement. So I want to give you your
Yeah,
flowers.
thank you.
Hopefully
Thank
you
you.
can
Same.
smell them.
But Atlanta influences everything because of this juxtaposition between those that grew here in the sense that they tilled the soil, laid the wet concrete that attracted those that flew here. And the two working together is how and why we influence everything. So yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Oh, I love it. I'm Archel Bernard. I own the Bombshell Factory in Liberia, Bombshell Store here at Ponce, and Bombshell Factory Foundation, which supports our endeavors in both places. And I'm so grateful to you for wearing our collab hoodie today.
Oh, that's dope. That's a good
Yeah.
one. Well, we ain't wearing that. I want
Yeah, say less. I'm gonna put it in the bag.
dope.
But I do my hand dyes. I do my own tie dyes here, and I also work with the people that taught me how to tie dye in Liberia. We opened a factory where we hire women from backgrounds of poverty in Liberia. We opened it after the war, after Ebola, and I'm so grateful to have this store here because it gives them an opportunity for economic growth. Like we have women who are the breadwinners of their family, and just to be able to give Liberian women that sort of stability is something that I am forever grateful for, and I'm grateful to Atlanta for giving me the opportunity to do that. You know, trade is so global, and these women who have never been here, who might not ever come, are still able to build lives for themselves and their families because of what we're doing here in Atlanta. So I'm so grateful for that work.
That's dope. So proud of you.
Thank you.
It's cool.
I'm proud of you guys.
Should we pull another one?
Who are Black entrepreneurs from history whose legacy has inspired you?
Ooh, mine is Oprah.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why I love Oprah. I love Oprah because Oprah has never fit the status quo, right? When you think about the most powerful women in the world,
Yeah.
the first woman that I think about is Oprah Winfrey,
Yeah.
right? And when I talk about power, I'm talking about she has the ability to enact change, right?
Yes.
She could push policy, she can affect public opinion, and people love her because she's a natural giver, and that's what she's built her brand to do. So when I think about my career and all the things that I'm doing, like I idolize her, and I don't idolize a lot of people, but like I love Oprah because of what she represents and what she stands for, and the things that I'm doing in the community, the give backs, helping economic growth with entrepreneurs, giving them a safe space to be all that they want to be, all that they think about, and showing people that you could be the girl from around the way, right? Come from humble beginnings, right? And not have to be super flashy to get the things that you want. Like I came in here in tights and a t-shirt, right? And I'm one of the entrepreneurs that have been moving and shaking for the last couple of years and have amassed a lot of success in that. But it's just me. I'm just regular. Who I am here is who I am everywhere. And I think that Oprah Winfrey has shown the world that. And now she's been able to build a universal audience, to be honest, which is the end goal, right? Like, I don't care if you black, white, blue, or yellow. Like, I want to change the lives of all people. And if I can do that, like what Oprah did, then I know that I'll be in a really, really good place. So when I think about that success, she is the metric.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, the entrepreneurs that have inspired me have been my grandparents. My grandfathers both were transportation entrepreneurs in Liberia. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs feel like they have what it takes, and maybe you do, but if you're not willing to put in that sacrifice, put in those hours, like really work towards your goal, then it doesn't really matter, because there's enough competition in here that will it come to fruition? Will your dream come to fruition without you putting in that legwork? So for me, whenever I think about entrepreneurship, I know that it runs through my veins. I know that it does. And then when I get the opportunity to collaborate or build community with people, I also know that those ancestors are there pulling those strings for me to make sure that like I have a good experience, or to make sure that we feel the connection with each other. And so it's like, for me, it is my grandparents running through me, and then just always being present in the room to make sure that we're working together for the best positive outcome for our businesses.
It's always good to have a parent or a grandparent that's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And my father was an illegal entrepreneur, but that's a whole nother program.
Yeah. Oh,
You come from Rastafarian.
Yeah. So
My parents are Rastafarian, and my dad did 22 years in prison. So I got the side of a hustler who was a big time kingpin, and just hearing the stories. He did 22 years as an entrepreneur, but then he spent his time in prison. And then my mom is also an entrepreneur. She's a reggae singer, but she also worked for a company for 37 years. So I got loyalty and commitment here, and I got risk taking here.
Yes.
And all
And
of
those
that
are things
together
that come together
Oh
to
my
build
gosh,
it.
it's the best of both worlds. You don't get no better.
that's what comes together to make you who you are. And sometimes people got to go through that to bring you to where you are.
Because if my
And
father
thank
would have
you.
never went to
I'm
jail,
thankful.
I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
Like life would have been a lot different. So like I don't take those situations for granted.
For sure.
Everything happened how it was supposed to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think that my family would have been as open to me being an entrepreneur if they had not seen entrepreneurship
Exactly.
work prior to me coming. And the days, Sunday night, when I called my mom in tears, and she was like, "No, baby, I see this is gonna work, so I need you to get on your knees and let's pray." But there's never a moment where she's like, "You're right, hang it up."
Yeah.
And it's because they've seen it work, and they've seen that we, their children, have all the best parts of who they are. And so they say, it's gonna happen with you.
Girl, don't get emotional.
Yeah,
You
which
ain't
is
know.
that's
Because I know
faith.
what you're going through. Okay,
That's faith.
It's not.
That's
Listen,
faith,
I know
bro.
this is a little off the grid, but like
Right.
even for me, y'all, I have over a dozen restaurants.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Right.
I have so
Yep.
many titles, accomplishments,
Uh-huh.
blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
I can't go straight to sleep like everybody else can go straight
Right,
to sleep. Because
right.
I'm thinking about making sure payroll is taken care of.
Yep.
I'm making sure that people are happy, that nobody's trying to sue me again.
Right,
Okay.
right,
Having to go
right.
through all of that stuff. I'm trying to make sure that we won't be a victim of the economy, because the economy is in a terrible position right now. So like
Yeah,
to
yes.
be an entrepreneur and look at other entrepreneurs who have been there, done that.
Yeah.
The days that I feel like I want to give up, and I ain't no quitter.
Right,
But the
right.
days that I feel like, damn, like this is just a lot. Like I don't even want to do this kind of stress
Right.
anymore. I think about those people that we talked about. Like if they can do it, why can't I?
Exactly.
If they can go through the trenches, why can't I do it?
And I'm better equipped.
And
to
I'm
do
better
it.
equipped with the resources, the audience,
Yeah.
faith, everything.
Yes.
So like, trust me when I say
Yeah.
okay,
It's
like,
real.
it's definitely.
I look at you guys because I feel like y'all are, you specifically, but also y'all are more visible entrepreneurs than me. And it's like, we want to grow, but I don't want all them problems with growth. So, but the fear of it makes me take a step back sometimes.
But
the
there's
truth
also
is-
problems in staying small. Too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Let's
it's
talk
like,
about it.
which problems do you
Yeah,
want?
which problems do you want?
Yeah.
You want big
But-
faith problems?
And
or
which
just-
glory do you want? Because big faith. You can't. If I'm shrinking myself, like I'm not. I'm
big
doing a
faith
disservice to me, to the community I support, to the people who believed in me, and to the ancestors that we were talking about. So yeah.
Yeah, and to be honest, I feel like more people should know about you, right? So your business is great, but what I tell people is that they're not buying the products,
Right.
Like you
Yes.
telling me that story. When I leave here, I'm going to your Instagram. I want to learn
Yeah.
more about
Yeah,
you.
it's the person.
You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
Like I want to learn more
Yes.
about you as a person, so that you can
Yes.
be the voice of reason
Yeah.
for the people, and then you build up this community outside of the products that you
Yes.
serve. And as a result of people falling in love with you,
Yes.
they're going to support anything
Man.
that you
No,
do.
you're right. I can't
Yeah.
stay small because of
No.
fear of anything, any of it.
Small
You're
is
absolutely right.
1999.
You're
I'm
absolutely
doing
right.
that in 2024.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you hope your legacy affects the narrative around Black entrepreneurship?
You go first. What you got?
So Atlanta influences everything. The why of the brand wanted to make the ideology law in Atlanta. And if Atlanta identifies itself as the Black Mecca, then there's a responsibility that Atlanta not only has to its citizens, but it has to those that identify as Black to lead by example of what is possible. And so someone that's Black in St. Louis or Birmingham, Alabama, when they look at Atlanta, this is an example of what's possible on all in all levels of life, entrepreneurship, home ownership, and being your the Blackest you could be, and making that acceptable, and what that looks like in our world is more policy and infrastructure that supports small businesses, entrepreneurs, creative economy. And I want the city of Atlanta to look at what we all do as help for them to build policy around, and look at us like, well, we could better support these type of businesses, then we can grow our economy in a unique way, because every city doesn't influence everything. I think every city has their own sauce. But if we're saying we influence everything, then heavy is the head that wears the crown. So how does a city posture itself in leveraging its influence? And I thought this was a while back when the Super Bowl came, when Mayor Bottoms was mayor. And entrepreneurs are always like, asking the city for help in certain things. And then I found out, Atlanta has the second largest concentration of former NFL players living in the metro Atlanta area outside of LA. And a friend of mine used to play for the Ravens. He said his agent was saying that Dunkin' Donuts was a good thing to maybe look into franchising. Like in the back of Inc. magazine, like you can franchise. And I'm like, nah, yo, when the NFL comes here, if the city can take its best and brightest, put them in the best, this is when you just had the food truck, if I'm not mistaken. Put your best and brightest in front of the money that's coming in the market, because Atlanta will attract things that come in the market. But if you put your best and brightest in front of them and say, hey,
He's the one.
forget Dunkin' Donuts. If you know what's good for you, this slutty vegan thing then I think back then, there could have been possibility of former NFL players looking to move money around. So that's how I see a city saying, okay, we influence everything and we flexing on that. But our responsibility within that influence is to put our best and brightest in position to win from a policy standpoint. So yeah.
Sure. For me, the most African principle there is to share. That is just Yes.
That's Jamaican too.
Well,
Yes, I'm Jamaican. That's what we did.
we are the same people.
Yes.
And the legacy that I would like for us to leave, the impact I want us to have on the city of Atlanta, is that people feel that desire to be a part of our culture, experience our culture, and just for us to be able to share it in a way that feels comfortable for everybody. I think especially after 2020, there was a lot of white people shouldn't wear African print. There's a lot of people who want to have conversations about appropriation or from food to music to clothing. I feel like a store that's here gives everybody the opportunity to experience a culture without getting on a plane. And I want people to be able to come to Bombshell and escape all of the negativity and just experience my culture. You know, we are a giving, loving, sharing people, even when it hasn't been beneficial to us. But we're not going to change who we are because of how people may feel about it. So the impact that I really want us to have in the future is one of just inclusiveness, and not just the lip service of it, but I want people to really feel included every time they come into our store. And even if we're long gone in the future, I want that to last. I want that feeling to
That's
last.
good. It will.
Yes.
So, when I walked in here, what did I tell y'all? That I didn't get nominated for an NAACP award, right? And I was actually trying to do I'm still going to do my video.
Yes.
But I was trying to do a TikTok video, dancing,
Yes.
right? Showing people that I'm dancing, but I ain't get nominated for this award. And I really wanted it because I'm an overachiever. I'm a perfectionist. Like
Yes.
anything I put my hands on has always turned to gold. But in the last 18 months, things haven't always went my way. So on social media, once upon a time, I just used to always show the wins. But then I said, wait a minute, that's not real. Right? I got to show the moments that I'm tired, that I'm stressed out, the moments where it doesn't feel good, so that people can see that entrepreneurship is so hard, but it's so very worth it. And this is what's going to come with it if you choose to sign up to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Right? I say all that to say the impact that I want to leave, not just to Atlanta, but to everybody. I want people to know that it's okay to fail, right?
Yes.
It's okay to go through tribulations, go through speed bumps. It's okay for things not to happen how you want them to happen. Because guess what? God got a better plan and a bigger plan. And while you may not understand it now, that plan is coming into fruition. You just got to be a little bit more patient and get it. So I want to get us to a place where social media is not a place where you just see highlights.
Right.
You see what happens in real life when it comes to entrepreneurship. Because I still cry some days. I be having my shower moments to myself.
Yes.
And like, all right, I got to figure this out. And I don't have $1,000 problems. I got multi-million-dollar problems. I can't pick up the phone and call somebody like, all right, let me hold $2 million tomorrow and I'll pay you back on Friday. I can't do that. I got to figure out how I'm going to get $2 million to pay all of these bills to do exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
So I want people to know that entrepreneurship is so much more realer than saying, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm making this much money.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot that comes up under the hood. And when I think when people can understand that in more of a real way, then we'll have more realistic expectations of what it means for people to want to be entrepreneurs.
And
That's
it's
my
reciprocal. I think when you post those things, I'm assuming people are thankful.
For the
They
real.
seem to be much more thankful for that. It seems like the positive posts get a like and some cool emojis and like, yeah, girl, I see you.
Yeah.
But then the real people end up putting their testimony
Yes.
up under that real post.
Yes.
And so you could tell that
You
it's
see the difference.
Yeah.
It's the one that lets us all know, wow, she's experiencing the same journey.
And she's
it's
real.
Really relatable. It's
Yes,
like,
it's
oh, okay,
relatable.
so
It's real.
she has those same sorts of days, and look where she is. Maybe I can also
Yes.
have the same sort of outcome.
And that's exactly why I made American Sesh. Y'all should come sit at the table one day, by the way. It's like church for entrepreneurs. Like we all go through it at different levels, but we all go through it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
only thing that's different
Yeah.
is the money in the bank. But creating a safe space for people to just
Yeah.
put your hair down and just say, you know what, I'm not perfect. It's not perfect.
Right.
The economy is changing. That don't mean I'm a bad entrepreneur.
That's true.
Just because the money ain't coming in like how it used to come in before, that
Right.
don't mean that things ain't happening how it's supposed to. It's just a shift in energy right now. And the energy gonna come back. I just gotta hold on.
Exactly.
So that's what I want people to see when you talk about impact and my brand and my vision and all that I've created.
Yes. Yes. Amen.
Does it make What changes would you like to see in the world to better support Black businesses?
Wow.
So I have one, and I think that you probably could resonate with what I'm about to say. I have a real life experience with my husband. So my husband got a chain of restaurants, Big Dave Cheesesteaks, and he's also very successful in his own right. 2.5 years ago, I got $25 million to raise my business. He got 0. And what I realized is there was an opportunity for Black women to get the injection of capital. Because when you talk about Black people, most of the time they just talking about Black women. And if you're talking about a Black man, you're talking about the fact that he's a threat, that crime, blah, 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 blah. So you don't really see any positive, not a lot, positive examples of Black men unless it's associated with drugs and crime. Historically, that's how it's been. So I had to be in a relationship with somebody who had to watch me grow at an accelerated pace.
Yeah.
And he had to sit back and wait his turn. Can you imagine how that affects a relationship?
Wow.
Right? Like how he feels in his success, right? He had his own success before he even met me. But then when he met me, a lot of the conversation became, oh, that's Pinky husband, that's Pinky man. No, he's his own entity. He's his own person. He has his own success. He just didn't have somebody didn't have the belief like how they had the belief in me because I was a woman. And it's more attractive to support a Black woman than it is a Black man. Wow. So when we talk about what I want to see when it comes to Black businesses, I want more Black men to be supported. I want more men like you to be able to have the opportunities to be showcased. Like I'm doing Forbes interviews and he's doing the same thing as me. And I'm getting all the interviews and I'm getting all of these things. So what makes us different? Do they look at him because he's a threat? Because he got 40 tattoos and locks in his hair? So I realized that, and because it was such a real experience, it affected my household. Now he's finally getting his flowers. But it shouldn't have taken that long to get there. And he was doing the same work as me. So I want people to understand that like Black men deserve to be highlighted, not in a way where they're on the ground with a gunshot wound to their head, right? Not in a way where like their court cases plastered all over the news every week talking about like who got this RICO, who did. No, but in a way where you're highlighting their business, how they're an entrepreneur, how they're a family man, how they're doing things that's progressing our culture and our people. Right. That's exactly what I want to see. Yeah.
So
I knew you was gonna feel that because it's real.
Following along that, you say the household. Those that work in housing or I guess the ecosystem of how a city runs. So Atlanta is you'll have developers or people that can set the tone for how much a thing costs. And they will be wearing our brand at times. And so they love the brand. And I understand the cost is the cost, to a certain extent. But the Atlanta, I think, from the way retail works in the city to the way housing works, they will celebrate the brand, but not look at the people behind the brand and what they might need in terms of, at the end of the day, we citizens. We are the CEOs of our own company, but we're not the CEO of Delta. We're not the mayor. We are citizens that just so happen to have done a thing. So there's still support that we could use from the city and other entrepreneurs. If you can't afford to live in Atlanta, but you have made some sort of impact for Atlanta on behalf of it, and that Atlanta is leveraging. And it's not just Atlanta, other cities, it could be the US as a whole, they're leveraging the social capital that your hard work is doing, but yet they hitting you with the price is the price on the other end. And so, where's the push and pull with that? Where's the affordable housing policy? Because that there are a bunch of amazing entrepreneurs that have large social capital throughout the world in some form. But if that same entrepreneur were to say, I can't afford to live in the city in which I am doing the work in,
Right.
then I know the city doesn't necessarily want that word to get out either.
Right.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
No, that's real.
How important is mentorship to you in leaving a legacy for future Black business leaders? And what does mentorship look like?
Um, once upon a time when I used to think about mentorship, I used to think about like who's above me, like what can I get from you that's up here, right? But I realized I get the most resources here. For people who are climbing the ladder just like me, they might know somebody that I don't know. They might have a relationship or a resource that I don't have. So mentorship doesn't have to come with somebody who makes more money than you. Mentorship can come from somebody who's doing what you're doing, maybe at an accelerated level, but may have some information that you don't. And that's where we get community and collaboration, right? Yeah. Collaboration to me is mentorship, right? Building with somebody and learning how we can collaborate, how we can work together to get to the next level. But it's necessary. I was telling my husband this the other day. I'm like, we got to get around more entrepreneurs. It's not enough for us to just be bouncing ideas off each other. Yeah, that's cool. But eventually, we need some new energy. We need some outside energy for us to be able to go to the next level. And that energy don't have to necessarily be a billionaire. I mean, it's good to be in those rooms as well. I'm in those rooms all the time, and they no different from somebody that's not a billionaire, right? They just met opportunity at the right time. You understand what I'm saying? So I think getting around the right people is a form of mentorship.
Yes.
Coming up with coalitions and groups
Yes.
and spaces like this, us just sitting down and talking. Like
Right.
I probably would have never engaged with y'all on this kind of level had it been in another setting. But I'm happy that we had the opportunity to do this because this feels like mentorship. Because each of us are going to walk away from this table like, damn, that was dope. Like I learned something new, or like, damn, I didn't even realize that.
Correct.
So doing more of these is necessary. And I think that when people don't do that, how could you possibly grow? How could you possibly get better if you're not trying to share ideas and get in the rooms with the people that are just as hungry as you, smart or smarter than you, right? A thinker just like you. And I'm happy that I get to do it in spaces like this. Is like a breath of fresh air. Y'all have no idea. Like I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Because we understand the same struggles, the same goals. Like we got the same goals. Like we want to be great. We want to make impact. And you have to do that in order to be able to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I mean, is there another answer? Like summed it up perfectly.
No, for real.
So I am selfishly driven by younger versions of ourselves in the public school system. I'm a public school kid. I love the public school system, and I know there's options. We live in an age of more options now, homeschooling or private. But when you get out on the highway out here, or you walk around on the Beltline, this gen pop out here. So public school is gen pop, and the process in which they teach, they don't teach the entrepreneurship, but now these kids are getting information from social media on our lives, but with no real-time context on how to take the first step. There's not really a dummy's guide to like what we do, where if you were going to take the LSAT, the MCAT, like these tests that allow you to get in real estate or law or become a doctor, and these letters by that's much more of a process. But I guess the core of why I do what I do and why I love to pass information to young people is there's always a kid in any classroom who's not really causing trouble, but they're not paying attention, and they're drawing Jordans. Everybody done been to school with a kid who drawing sneakers. And as we matriculate through life and through school, everybody starts to find their way. It's that kid who's drawing Jordans. Why does that kid rarely end up doing sneaker design for Nike or just their own brand? It's the lack of older people in their lives that understand even what that is in the first place. It's like an information gap. And the times where I've gone and done career days, that's where I've learned that there was an information gap. because I'm thinking I'm talking to these kids, and then you get ready to leave, and the teacher will pull you to the side and say, "Damn, so how you do that again?" And it's the teacher the teacher is listening just as intently, or you'll get a call from a kid's parent that's trying to get more information either for what they're trying to do in their own lives or better information so they can support their kid in it. So you see there's a information gap, a real-time information gap in how to even approach these types of non-traditional careers. And so I didn't have that for myself. I kind of had to bump my head a lot and just try things. And I would love to stand in the gap for younger people that we didn't have. So yeah.
For me, when it comes to mentorship, I love the opportunity to lead with love and recognizing that it doesn't look the same across the board. So when I'm in Liberia, I'm working with my women, and one of my factory women had a baby, and I know that she is going to need to feel a different level of support than one of my employees here in Atlanta, who's in college, just working a part-time job. So the woman in Liberia, at some point, I'm going to adopt her son and bring him to the States so he can have an education. His mother can't read, but I really think he could be president one day, And so the way mentorship for me is not necessarily going to be showing him how to be a business owner or a leader, but just how to be a good person who leads with love.
I love that.
And when I think about my team here, it's a bunch of beautiful women work at Bombchel, different races, different, some are in school, some have graduated. And I think the opportunity for them to know that at 22, 23, 24, they are special. It's not just, you're not just bodies on the floor. You are a true ambassador to being able to share African culture with anybody who may have a question about it, and letting them know that they are important in their individual way. What are the talents that you have that you feel like can contribute to this company? I'm all ears. I want to grow this with you because you have a perspective that I may not have. And so having a company and having different facets to that company allows me to say, okay, for mentorships, for the sake of mentorship, I just want to lead loving you for exactly who you are. And I want your personality to shine, your gifts to shine here. And you absolutely have the right to pursue anything that your heart desires. And you feel more empowered to do it because you've seen me do it here.
Girl, if you was running for president, girl, you'd have had my
You talking
vote.
about somebody else president.
Girl, I was voting for you, girl. Okay, you got it. That was good. That's real.
You are so kind. All right, y'all. How do you balance the demands of your business with personal life? I feel like it's a natural. You started out because so far you got the personal life.
So listen, that's funny. And I'm being so real because that's the only way I could be. So y'all know I had a baby 40 days ago.
40 days ago. Oh my God.
I didn't know it was 40.
I had my third child 40 days ago.
Wow.
And I've been pregnant since 2020. So I had a baby 2021, 2022, and 2023. And that was my last time. Now the IUD said, Brittany, I'm not having no more kids.
That's amazing.
I say that to say that I even got married in June. So can you imagine being pregnant every year, being in a relationship that's a public relationship, having this big wedding, dealing with the highs and lows of business, getting sued at the same time.
Man.
It's a lot. And then coming home and gotta be domestic. I still gotta date my partner.
Yeah.
I still gotta play with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
And obviously I have a lot of help, but it is not easy. So I am still navigating through the motherhood, CEO, wife process. And some days I feel like I am better than other days. And I'm being honest. I'm like, I just need to go away and just take a vacation, just me, myself, and I. And then some days I'm like, most days, this is my motivation. This is how I can get through the day because my kids come home from school and like they running up to me like, Mommy. And I'm like, damn, I got people calling me Mommy now. Like, I can't lose.
Right.
I cannot lose. So what I learned is that I am understanding now how to prioritize my time. So when I'm at work, I'm at work. Okay. And you have to understand, unless it's an emergency, I'm at work. But when I'm home, you get my undivided, unfiltered attention, right? Like I'm going to give you all of me. My phone is down. Like I am mommy. What we doing? We watching Coco Melon. We watching Grace's Corner. What's happening? Miss Rachel. Like we're watching everything. Like, and I'm locked in with my children. And as long as I can devote certain times to the things that are important to me, then I know that I can continue to maneuver. And now I'm starting to bake that in the process. My husband and I, we actually do a really good job at it because he's in the same industry as me. So I could talk about profit and loss and the stress in business, and I'm talking to somebody that understands that language.
Yeah.
Most times there are people that are in relationships and they so divided because like they're in two different industries. So it's like they're speaking different languages. But I'm fortunate enough to be with somebody that can rebuttal what I'm saying and I don't have to cut it off.
Right.
So is it hard? Absolutely. Am I navigating through it? Yeah. But I like this new life.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't change it for a thing. Yeah.
That so I haven't done the best job on my personal life. The world's blended at a point that I didn't know they were. I just became this one track person in terms of the dream and the passion, and not having a mentor. Not a direct mentor. I've had people pour into me, but that could walk me through what these feelings were and how best to navigate. I put on horse blinders and have family. Like I just haven't done well. I love young people in general. So my daughter lives in Houston and has been there. She's 18 now. She's been there since she was 3. So I go there 3-4 times a year, and then she comes over the summer and the holidays. But that like what is that? And then my son, he's 5, and he's here, and so I spend way more time with him, and I've been told that from a one-on-one touchy-feely parent that I'm good, but it's the full aspect of saving for college and this planning and the moms, and I'm single now, and it's really taken 10 years to become an overnight success. I now am receiving help on all forms to better find the balance that you have. And I know nothing is ever like 50-50, but I just have not, in the last 10 years of building a company in my brand, I have not done the best job in my personal life. The world's blended in a unhealthy manner, I guess, from a mental standpoint, and probably it's like like maybe mid last year, breakthrough kind of happened, and balance and things are starting to. I'm breathing. I'll just leave it at that. I'm starting to
So
breathe.
I know what that means.
You know.
I'm starting to breathe too, man. You have no idea. Ooh.
For me, personal life is literally, it's French 75s and marijuana. Like that is
Oh, there was a
to relax. It's gin, prosecco. They make a good one.
Girl,
at
I haven't drank since 2020. I started a whole bar and couldn't drink.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm finally now able to drink for the
You
first
let me
time.
know when you
Let's
are.
go have that
We can
drink.
do a little- we can do
I'm
a
gonna
French
try
75 tour. I make a good one too. But no, it's like I'm not married, never been married, no kids. I feel like so much of my personal life is wrapped up in the business because it is called Bombchel. That is my name. Like I'm Archel. And I think about my family that's in Liberia. I think about my family that's here. I love being in the bed. Oh my God, I love being in the bed. And so, but every time it's like as soon as my feet hit the floor, I'm thinking about what to do because we're not where I want to be yet. So I think that a lot of times for people as we grow our businesses, the more you think I'm not where I want to be, sometimes the guiltier I can feel spending free time just doing something that I enjoy doing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I
It's
feel
real. We all feel it.
yeah, and so I don't want to feel guilty, but when I'm ready to enjoy myself, I do like a good cocktail.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, last question. Describe yourself.
Yeah. I'll go first because I just succinct. So I discovered this about a couple years ago. So my name is Bem, is Bem, but it's pronounced Bame. And then my middle name is Ali, last name Joiner. So Bame means peace in Swahili. Ali means warrior. And I used to just say those two because they had meanings. The last couple of years, so I'm known in Atlanta as a dot connector. I connect people. That's probably where I built my social capital from. So myself is I finally have been blessed to be able to live my whole name through and through. So peaceful warrior, joinery, connective tissue. So a peaceful warrior who joins or connects. So that's who I am.
Oh, that's good. I'm an alien.
Hey.
No, I'm not of this world. I might be physically here, but and I don't know if y'all ever felt this way. You ever been like, I'm different. Ain't nobody like me. Like I think different. I move different. Like I wonder if I'm the only person in the world that is just different. And when I think about me, it's weird to talk about yourself, but when I think about myself, like I run circles around everybody in the room. You understand what I'm saying? Like I don't stop until I get what I want. No don't hurt me. Like I do not accept no. Like I will find a solution to the problem. And I hate math, but I'm a problem solver.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I will solve a problem. Like especially don't let my back be against the wall. My best work is when my back is against the wall. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely think that I'm a different breed, which allows me to like when I say I'm pouring the midnight oil, I don't sleep. And I gotta do better at that. But like I'm so hungry in my pursuit to be great that even and this also can be adverse too. I gotta be honest. Something big will happen for me, and I'd be like, all right, what's next? What I gotta do next? Like I'm just wired.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And there's a flip side to that too, because like I have a hard time being present in the moment, but I'm addicted to success. I'm addicted to being great. Right? I'm addicted to getting all the things that I say I want to do, even if it looks hard for me. So when I joked and I said I'm an alien, like I just know that I'm not an average species in this world because the things that I want, I'm willing to go above and beyond to get it, which is how I've been able to build my career, how I am at home. And a lot of people may translate that into being too controlling, right? But it's who I am. And I think I got it from my dad. That's who I am.
That's real. Yeah.
If I describe myself, I really think I am an ambitious lover. Like
There's a lot of love around you.
I'm so grateful. When I was little and my family moved here after the war, and I was African booty scratcher. I was people talking about, do they have cars in Africa? I was all these things. My mom found the biggest, brightest head wrap she could wear to pick me up from school. And it was an all-white school. And I was just always, I just felt like being African was just this like, I didn't want to be African. And now we've come so far where people are playing Afro beats every day, where people are going and buying properties because they want to be connected. In my little short lifetime, I've seen so many things change, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. I'm grateful to be front row seat, and I'm grateful to be championing it. So really, every day I wake up, like, I know that my life is an anomaly. You mean to tell me that I'm from a free African country? I'm also from Atlanta, that I got to go to Georgia Tech, that I got to open this store here, and I got to sell. 20% of our sales were waist beads last year from this store. Beads? Yes, ma'am. 20% of our sales were waist beads, and I get to educate people on, no, don't buy them from China. You want to buy them from an African country so that we get to benefit from sharing our culture. Like, I love the ability to be able to do that. And I'm so ambitious that we'll be able to do it even more. And so the other day, this little girl came into our store. She was about 4 or 5. And she heard the story about like everything here is made from Africa, whether it's Ghana, Kenya, Liberia, or if I've made it. And she looked at her mom and she said, "You mean to tell me everything in the store is African, just like me?" And when I was little, it was just not cool. And now here's this little girl who's looking up and seeing that opportunity, that who she is more than enough. It's accepted. It's cool. So I love the opportunity to do what I get to do. I love all the things that have brought me here and are going to take me there. And I'm so ambitious that we'll get, by the time 20 years passes, again, we'll be singing a whole different tune where people, it's no longer just educating, it's people swapping stories about their first trip in Africa. You know, it's people buying their African dresses and wearing them on a regular day, not just to church on a Sunday and not just to an African wedding. You know, where it's like people are not just looking at their ancestry to say, this is my African connection. It's, I'm actually buying here. Yeah. My African connection is the community that I'm a part of there. So I'm a lover of this journey, and I'm quite ambitious that this is not it.
Dang.
Yeah.
I think that was that.
Thank you.
Drop the mic.
Thank you.
Cut the camera.
Thank you.